Okay, so we're going to run into some issues here again. After you've downloaded the instructions, then you go into your start file. Both of these are required. So let's look here. You need your start file and your all office versions. Okay, now the start file, when it comes in, get ready to open it. You want to enable your editing, and you would be ready to go with that. But let's go back and look what happens with that other one that needs all office, this resource file. This is a zipped file, and so it needs to be extracted. And I've already extracted mine, but when you extract a zip file, you just want to take it over to the correct folder. And in my case, it would be under the student files. And you just, in this case, well, I'll redo this one. So I'm just going to delete the folder that I already did and put it in this 10.1. And what it'll do is it'll create that folder and the file, and you extract it. Now the difference is that, let's look at the file that's in here. This is the file that came in from that extracted file, and then we look back at the one that I saved, and this is the file that I saved. So you just, it says that you're going to need both of them, so it's important that you do that. So let's go back to my Excel file first. All right, so this is the one that I downloaded from the website, and now the first order of operations here is to come in and you got to make sure that the macros are enabled. And I just want to come here and go into my macro security and make sure all macros are enabled, that this is in fact happening here. Okay, so now when I get to the next stage, what I'm going to do, let me get this message off of there, and is make a copy of this inventory sheet, because that's what it's asking me to do. So I've gone into holding my control key down, I get my little plus, let go, and I've got my new inventory 2 sheet. And I'm going to change the color of this one, so I just need to go into my tab color, and it's supposed to be green accent 4, and so there I've got it, the new tab color for inventory 2. Now I want you to run the reorder macro. So you're going to come up to macros again, and reorder should be in here. Let's see. Let's see, where is it? Just a second. Okay, in this case, we need to come here and open up that folder that we downloaded, and also open up this that has the actual written macro in it. Okay, so when I enable it, and the question here would be, will it show up when I come into macros? Ah, there it found it. See, the other macro had to be open in order for it to run. That was the deal. So now I'm here on the inventory 2 sheet, and I run the macro, and I've got my information. So that was pretty darn tricky. Okay, and we need to make sure we save what we've got, and then we want to edit that macro. So we're going back into the macros, and we go into edit. Where is it? It should be here somewhere. There, it just fell behind. Okay, so we're taking a good look at it. The first thing we want to edit is to change this number to 2. Then we're coming further down, and we're on step D now. It wants me to come here on the left-hand side of this and click on it. Now I found when I want to get that range, now I want to select the whole range, and I copy it. Okay, I didn't get that copy command when I just selected it and did it this way. So I had to select the range. So now I can deselect that range, come to the last line, hit enter, and now I paste. And so that's putting that same code inside that blank line that was inserted later on. Okay, so now, now what I want to do is change this reference to the code to A, let's see, capital A, 1. And we need to close, save and close. So we're going to click here. And now it's saved, it's saved and closed. And I'm back in mine. So make sure you've got them both open. The other one's open in the background. If I went to view my windows, I would see that both the wherever macro 9 is open and my sheet is open that I'm running that macro from. Now we're on step 9. And it says assign a macro to a button form control. Okay, so, but I'm doing it in the inventory worksheet. So I'm coming over to inventory and I'm going to my developer, insert, and I'm doing a form control button, and it's in J3 through K3 right here. And I'm assigning this macro, so I click on it and then I click on OK. And now I need to change the text in the macro. So I just have to type the new text, which is, I got to get the word button off of there. Let's see if I can get that. And they do have a period after it. So I want to make sure that I got everything typed in the same way. Now I can just simply click away, and now that button's active as a button. And so and it says to adjust the size if you need to. And now I want to run the macro, and with the Excel, let's see what it says here. Okay, so that's just step E. We just click on the button and it runs the macro, and it changes and highlights the way it's supposed to with the number 1 instead of 3. Now what we're doing is we're going to the macro workbook. So I need to switch windows here, and I go into view, switch windows, come back to the macro workbook, and I want to make sure everything's open and disable the use relative cell reference button if it's active. Okay, and this one you're just you're creating your own macro, and what you don't want to do is have this checked right here. It just says to disable the use relative cell reference. It wants to make sure that it's an absolute cell, and that's going to be in cell A2. So when we click on record the macro, it'll start the process. And it's just saying, okay, now use a shortcut key, which would be Control plus Shift D, it says. And insert the, let's see, what does it want you to call it? Oh, it's called today. Okay, so in this one, what you would do is I would do a Control Home, A2, and then in A2, I'm going to do equals 2, I picked up today, and enter. And Control Home. And now I'm done with my macro, so I need to stop recording. Okay, now just to check to see if my macro happened, I'm going to come back over to my developer and look at my macros, and I see my today macro right here. Okay, so and that's what we want to run and try it in our other worksheet. So now I'm into my wherever, with my name on it, and I want to run that macro. Okay, I ran into a bit of a problem in that if I did the control shift D right now, there's another application on my computer that opens up and it caused me a problem. So I just want to prove to you that it is set. If I go here in macros and look at my macro, my today macro, and you can see that the keyboard shortcut is Control Shift D. And that's what we were supposed to do. So it is good. But I'm going to have to run it a different way. And so I'm going to close out of this. I'm still in my macro, and all I just want to do is the same process that we did before to run it, and it put the date in, and I'm good to go. Okay, so now what it wants you to do is to come up to macro security and disable all macros with notification. Click OK. And it also wants this developer tab to be hidden. So that we would do over here under options and customize ribbon. And we just uncheck it and click OK. And that takes the developer tab off. Okay, so the last thing I need to do is to make sure that I upload the proper file. And remember, you're uploading the one with your name on it. So just be really careful with that. So I'm going to save this, close it out. Okay, and we close out the macro one, save it, and now I'm going to upload my file. And I just need to make sure that I've uploaded my file from my school folder with my name on it. Make sure you get the right file or you can get yourself in a mess. So this again, student files, unit 10, and there's mine with my name on it. Click open. And I can, what did it say? It did, okay. Well, I just realized that I had not saved my file properly here. It has to be an XLS, it's an Excel file when the one that you download for you to work off of. So the other one is an XLM, and that is a macro. And so you have to make sure you got the right file format. And so here, when I went to upload, I got an error, but it should work now. Okay, I had to refresh my page, but I'm going to upload my file again and make sure I get, see, that's the one I chose by mistake. It's this one is the one we want. And yes, submit the file. And I got them all right, so good. We're ready to roll. So stop my recording and you should be a happy camper.